What's up, everybody? So like I said, I don't want to bring in people for Q&As. This individual, I just want to bring in, he's a young man that I've seen grown over the years. It's somebody that I admire from afar, and I'd just like to expose him to you guys and just show you guys that anybody's can change. And I want to show you guys all kinds of ages, so young people, older, and just like anybody really. And so I want to just bring him in and have him share what God's done in his life, and hopefully that can help anybody and encourage anybody in their life. So, Daniel.
What's up, Kenneth?
All right. So, first things I just kind of want to ask you, or just kind of tell you, if you can just share a little bit about yourself. So, you're 16?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And where do you go to school at?
I go to school at California High School.
You don't got to get detailed. Come on, college. Cal Highs. And you're a junior, right?
Mm.
So that's like the most important year in terms of your grades?
Yeah.
All right, how are you doing right now?
I have 3 B's and 2 A's in my 5 classes.
All right, so obviously a smart individual. And what sports do you play?
I play volleyball, but this past week it got canceled. My whole season got canceled.
Why?
Because of the coronavirus.
Coronavirus, man. What do you think about that in terms of coronavirus? Like,
to me, I'm not like that scared of it, but I understand like it affects like the very like young, and it also affects the very old. So even like if it doesn't affect me, I can have it, and that can affect like someone else. So I understand why they're taking like all these precautions and like shutting everything down.
One thing for sure, there's a lot of uncertainty because you can't control it, and I think a lot of like non-believers are panicking and like making a scene about it, especially the news. Like they're hyping up like way too much. But how are we as Christians supposed to react to something like that? How would you think that we react to something like that?
Just stay calm and just, I don't know, just listen to what the government says. Like just keep a good hygiene and just stay calm and don't panic. I don't really know how to control that.
What would you say God would want us to do?
Just listen to the government.
All right, yeah, that's
there's no cure for it, so I mean, there's not much you can do except listen to what like the smartest like scientists say. I mean,
for sure, it does say in the Bible that we are to abide the law, and it's His law and the government's law. But as long as there's not some tension in between it, then we're good. So I obviously know you play volleyball. I know that you're in the varsity team. I know that you just got moved up to varsity. One thing I think you know that I play in Omeros. I think that's what it's called.
You know what?
In Omeros, I think that's what it's pretty much like a league for like anybody that's not in the real basketball team in college. And so like if you don't play for the actual school, you play for that, and like anybody can join. And there's divisions. There's like A, B, and C. And like A happens.
Is it like a club team or
kind of? But you don't pay anything. It's free.
Okay.
You just sign up for whatever which one you want.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so obviously I'm not playing for Biola University. That's where I go. But I joined because some friend of mine wanted to join it, and so I played in it. And there was an incident that happened. I was playing, and this is a Christian school, right? And we're playing, and I got heated because they were like,
"You got heated?"
Yeah, because they were playing dirty. Like there's A and B and C, and C is supposed to be like the not as talented. I'm in C. Like I can play for A, but because of my friends, they said like, "Oh, we're just kind of
in C."
Yeah, like we just want to play for fun. Like, we don't want to be tryhards. And the guy that's good, he asked me, and I was like, well, how are you gonna play? Like, are you gonna go try hard? Because if you go try hard, like I'll go try hard. If not, like I'll just kind of, dynamo people and just mess around or whatever. And so we're playing for C, and there was a game when we played, and then these guys are like, they're going try hard, like, but like I'm talking about like these dudes are playing rough, and I was just kind of like whatever's. And next thing you know, this dude like elbowed me on my jaw.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, what the heck? So I let it slide. And then another like play later, one of my guys gets the rebound, and he's like swinging his elbows, and he hits the other guy. And so now there's tension. Like people are getting hit, people are falling. And
it's not on purpose, though, right? It's by accident.
No, like they were kind of doing it.
Or was it being rough?
Yeah, and so like my hood side came out. I was like, nah, I'm not play hood. Like, they can't do me like that. And so, in basketball, what they teach you, like, you kind of use people as a tool. Like, if you put your hand on my waist and put your hand, like, just extend your hand, what they teach you is, like, use the player as a tool. So, like, I would clamp your hand, like, I'd clamp it, and then be like, hey, ref, look.
Oh,
It's
it
like,
costs
holy.
like like a foul. Yeah.
And so,
That's,
I did that, and the refs are, like, volunteers, and they're just, like, regular dudes.
yeah.
I clamped one of the dude's arm, and then, like, I passed it, and that dude was going that way, and I was going this way. So I was, like, yanking his arm. Like, his arm was
Also, that
pulling.
table.
Yeah. His arm was going this way, and, like, I shoved it, like, intentionally. Like, my intentions were to, like, hurt this dude. And, like, I was, like, I don't know, I was just not in the right mindset. And, like, I tossed him, and he fell, and, like, he tumbled over.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, man, he got up. You don't have to do that. I was like, don't touch me. Don't put your hand there. Like, that's how I responded. I was there. After that, like, I kind of, like, caught myself. I was like, man, like, why am I? Because like, the very next play, I also went back and, like, I drove all hard, and this dude was, like, about to take a charge. And he was flopping, and I just rammed this dude. Like, I pushed this dude down, and he fell down.
This is the same guy, too?
No, this was a different guy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm playing rough against everybody now. But they're doing the same thing. And then some girls are like, you don't have to play so rough. Like, screaming that out. And I was like, what the heck? I just kept playing. But it wasn't until, like, a second after, like, they called a timeout. I talked to, like, my teammates, and I was going back in. And they're like, keep playing hard, whatever. And it wasn't until, like, the Holy Spirit kind of told me, like, is this how God would want you to be playing? And I felt so convicted. I was like, man, like, why am I playing like this? Like, this basketball's supposed to be fun. Yeah, you want to be competitive. But, like, if I would have kept yanking that dude's arm, I could have snapped it, bro. Like, legit. And so I, at that moment, was like, yo, sub me out. And, like, I got out. And another reason why is because we were already up by, like, 20. And so I was like, I don't need to be in the game, right? So I was like, just take me out. And I was making comments and stuff, but, like, at that moment, I was like, I wasn't playing for God. I was just kind of playing for myself. Like, I wanted to just win. And, like, I didn't care what came in between that. Has there been a moment when you were playing volleyball and you weren't playing into the standard that God would want you to play?
Yeah, because I've always heard, like, sports brings out, like, the worst in you. So let's say, like, you know, there's always, like, those moments where, like, a ref will make a bad call.
Yeah.
And you get, like, super triggered. And, like, I remember we had a tournament, like a couple of weeks ago, and it was in, oh my gosh, what was it? It was, like, a city, like, 2 hours away. So I was like, okay, we got to play to win. Like, I'm not going to take any, like, L's. And the ref made a bad, like, call. And he just bad judgment, like, the whole game. And, like, one of the other kids, like,
Was it a girl ref?
huh? No, it was a guy ref, but he just had really bad judgment. And one of the other players on the other team, like, made a comment, and I was like, all right, pause, hold up. I was like, pause, like, don't, like, say stuff like that. Like, I don't know, I shouldn't even have butted in the first place, but sports can, like, bring out the worst in you and kind of make you do things. And then when you look back, you're like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have made that comment or done that action. But I started arguing with this, like, tall guy, and so we're at the net, I'm just looking up at him and arguing with him.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, but I remember, like, after the game, like, it doesn't even matter. Like,
What did you say to him?
huh? Because he hit it out, and he's all, like, hyping everyone up and, like, making comments about us. And I'm like, bro, that was so out, like, you know it. And I called him, like, a liar to his face. And then I was just saying a bunch of bad stuff to him. And then after the game, I'm just kind of just like, oh, I shouldn't, like, make that, like, I shouldn't be an example, like, call myself an example and make, like, an action like that. And just, you shouldn't, that's not how you should represent, I guess.
Yeah. And so how can you mentally prepare yourself, like, going into a game knowing, like, yeah, I want to win, but, like, I'm also a Christian and people are looking at me, because really, like, Christians are in a little fishbowl, and every little thing you do, it's seen. People are like, oh, you're a Christian though, aren't you? Like, why are you acting that way? And so how can you, like, mentally prepare yourself going into a game thinking, like, okay, like, I'm a Christian, I want to win, but I also want to have sportsmanship?
You know, just going into, like, the game and just, like, before the game even starts, just like, oh, I have to remember, like, to keep my cool, like, I'm a Christian, I need to be an example and not, like, all, like, wild and, like, being, like, just always, like, angry and yelling at every, like, call made, and just, like, being an example, staying calm and doing, like, what God would want, like, just,
And I like that you said that. You said be an example. Not too recent ago, there was Steph Curry. I don't know if you've seen it. Steph Curry posted a picture, and he's an athlete, so people know he's a Christian. I think I told you that on his Under Armour shoe, he has, "I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me," or "I can do all things through Him." I think that's the Bible verse. And he asked, Nike wanted to sign him originally, and Nike told him, "Oh, like, we want to sign you, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh, well, the only thing I want from you guys is if you put this Bible verse on my shoe." And Nike was like, "No, we're not going to have it." And so then he went and signed with Under Armour because they allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
And so obviously people know he's a Christian. People look up to him. He's a funny guy. He's nice and, like, he's witty. But not too long ago, he posted a picture of, like, him and his wife. I don't know if you've seen it. Like, he was holding her, and he was, like, in a pool and, like, in the beach.
I know what you're talking about.
How do you feel about that? Do you think, like, that's appropriate? Is that something that, like, Christians could do, should do?
It all goes back to, like, being an example. Like, even if you're not a Christian, you should always have, like, cause he's a basketball player, and as a basketball player, you gotta know, like, there's a lot of young ones, like, watching you play, like, constantly. So you just gotta be an example. And, like, I know the post you're talking about where he's, like, holding her by the waist, right, on the pool. Yeah, that
was controversial.
That one a little bit weird, a little bit sus, but I don't know. I mean, things like that happen all the time, but you just always have to remember, I have little kids looking up at me on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially if you call yourself you're a Christian, you should have you should know before you even post it, like, is this right? Like, is this, you already know. So I mean.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, I get it. Like,
I was like that too. I was like, come on, man. Like,
it felt weird. I was like, I don't know, because that can be a stumbling block to anybody. The little ones, people his age, older people. Like, I don't know. I wonder how his wife thought about it. I'm just curious. I want to kind of shift the conversation. And so you're in high school and you play sports and you're competitive. And in high school, when I was in high school, like, it was so easy for me, because I wasn't a believer in high school. It was so easy for me to try to, like, fit in and, like, try to be in the crowd. Like, I was considered popular. Like, some people have told me, like, you were popular. And I was like, what? Like, I was? I never thought I was popular, but people knew who I was because I was on the basketball team and I was kind of like this jock.
You get, like, a reputation. Like,
yeah. And so what have you done as a Christian in high school to kind of portray yourself as a Christian, as a believer? Because you can easily go by high school and nobody will know you're a Christian. You can easily do that because you don't have to, like, you're not yelling, "Jesus is my Savior" every day.
It's easy to just ignore it, like, not say anything.
So how have you shown that you're a Christian? Because I remember you mentioned that one time you were in class and, like, some teacher said something controversial about, like, God, and you were like in your head you wanted to say something. Or was that your brother?
Oh yeah. There's been a lot of occasions where, like, a teacher will make a comment, but one thing that's happened before, I'm in an academy, as you know, right? It's called Business Academy, and we always have bonding activities, and for whatever reason, they're always, like, put on a Sunday, or it's, like, Sunday, like, evening. But as we always.
What is that? Sunday evening.
Like Sunday night, like for instance.
Oh, us, yeah.
And so, like, going into this year, they wanted to do, like, a bonding activity at the beach because it was still, like, summer, right? It was, like, mid-August, so it's like, let's go to the beach for summer.
The business thing?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, everyone could just, like, reconnect to whatever it is. And me and Gabriel looked at each other and we were like, "Do you want to go?" And then we kind of, wait, when is it? Oh, Sunday? Oh, no, we can't go. We're not going to go.
Oh, yeah. And
then everyone's like, "Bro, why don't you go? Like, why don't you, like, ever go?" And we're all like, "Oh, because we have church." And my teacher, I forgot what she said. She's like, and she's always like, "Oh, gosh, you never want to go." It's like, God will allow us one Sunday, but, like, me and Gabriel really, like, don't care, like, if we don't, like, go or not. Like, we're going to always, like, usually we're always going to end up picking church over, like, a bonding activity. And then not to mention there's always, like, the bad things that will happen, like, at a bonding activity. Like, even, like, just gross things. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, you know, like, people, like, kids are, like, our age, like, in high school, they'll smoke or something like at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
They'll wander off and smoke, and it's like, why did I even come if like this is literally what
Teachers allow this thing?
they don't
just
see
like
it.
finesse it, they hide it.
I don't know, they just don't see it, I guess. But like
Bro.
like we'll have a bonding to it, they wander off, and it's like, why do you even come? Like if
You're
this is
gonna
what
go
you
do
have planned, like I'm just like that's a big reason why like I don't go to those things, because like I already know what's gonna end up taking place, so it's like I'm just gonna back up.
Yeah, that's huge. Like as a junior, like for me, I would have been like, let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
Not one because like I just wanted to be in the loop. Like I wanted to be in the crowd. I wanted to be known. Like I wanted to be popular and all that. But it's like so huge at your age to like know that that's going on and say like, no, I'm gonna just not show up, because if I do, like I might be tempted, or like there might be peer pressure, and so like just not even showing up is huge. Like for your age, doing that. Another thing that kind of changing gears again. Obviously, like you have your brother and your mom, but you've grown up without a dad.
Mm.
And so, how has that been for you as a Christian, not having a father figure in your life? Because we look to God as our father figure, and I, for one, as well, like having grown up with a father. So, how has that been for you as a Christian? Have you like tried to take on a father role in your house, or like because your brother is the older one, right? Like a few minutes or something.
Oh yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah.
15 minutes?
15, yeah.
That's, wow.
I feel bad. I feel bad for my mom. 15 minutes after.
Gotta wait 15 minutes. So, how has that been for you? Because, like, that was definitely something that was hard for me, like, not growing up without a father. And this is when I was, like, in a worldly aspect. And now, as like you're a Christian, did you grow up Christian? You did, right?
For the most part, me and my brother, we've always like grown up in the church, but it didn't. We didn't start like going like to church and more focus more on it until like I'll say when I entered, like me and Gabriel entered like the 6th grade, and we started like attending more and more, and just starting to learn, starting to focus more.
Why did you?
Why did I focus more?
Like why did you like decide as a 6th grader to like start going more? Was it just because your mom was taking you guys?
My mom wanted to just my mom just wanted us to grow up like to be good people, like always like be loving good people. And she grew up in the church too, but then there was like a little time period where she kind of like went away for a while. But after like losing my dad or whatever, she's like, okay, I need to like prioritize like these kids' life, like these are my boys, and I need to set a good example. I think that's what she was thinking. And then once it turned like 2014, we started like going more and more.
Yeah.
Because not just to shape our lives, but to reshape her life, like to come back to God.
Yeah. And so, how has that been for you? Like again, like growing up without a father, and like as a Christian, we look to God as our spiritual father, right? And we look to Him like to guide us. So how has that been? Like, has your mom taken on that role? Has Gabriel taken on that role? How has that been for you?
Well, it's definitely hard, like for a mom, because there's only so many things a mom can do. Because then again, she's not like a man, so you don't have like the man point of view of things. But we have like our older brother too, who's kind of taking on that like father role to kind of just Dominic. Dominic, so he can so we can grow up and he can teach us how to do certain things, learn certain things, then just teach us to be like good like young men who can grow up, be mature, respectful. Yeah. And then again, we always have like the people at church, like the fathers at church. They also like help us like mature, like, and then they teach us God's word on top of that. So it's like they're teaching us how to live our life and live a life like according to the Bible. Yeah. To God.
All right. So much good stuff in that. I mean, I want to keep asking, like, because someone that isn't a Christian can say the same thing. Can say like, oh, like, yeah, my mom's a single mom and she's raised us and she's a hard worker, and like I have other like tios and like uncles that have raised me and like have made me a good person. But what makes us different as Christians? What would you say? Like, how does following God as our Father make us different from like the world that they follow their family members who are just humans and just people?
Well, a big thing is like, let's say I have a role model at church, right? He's gonna, if he mentors you right, you're gonna live you'll live a life of love and according to the Bible rather than if your role model is like your uncle and let's say they have like a worldly like view on things. They'll definitely teach you to be a man, but then they'll also teach you, oh, this is how you drink beer. Like, oh, you want to drink beer? Like, this is how you do it. They'll teach you those kind of things. Like, oh, this is how you do this. This is how you do that.
Yeah.
But like, it's two different things. Like your worldly views and your heavenly views. Like, I mean, having a role model in the church is very good because they'll teach you a life of loving people, caring for people, being respectful and mature, and on top of that, the word for sure.
Yeah. All right. So these are typically the last questions that I ask people on our interview. So I kind of want to ask you these, and then we can just close off.
Okay.
So the first one is, how did you know in your heart that you had truly turned away from like the world and started to follow Jesus? So turn away, like you said, you grew up in the church, but you said it was until like the 6th grade. It's like, how did you know, like okay, I can't like try to like be disrespectful to my mom or like do whatever I want or not do the homework and like all that stuff. Like, when did you know, or how did you know, like, okay, I'm done with that. Like, I'm gonna follow Jesus.
Well, I can say like in 6th grade is when we started going like to church and all that kind of thing. But I think it took me to like my freshman or sophomore year to be like, all right, I have to start like, this is the life I need to start heading into rather than just being focused on the world around me, high school girls and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And start focusing like on living a life of Jesus and maturing and finally growing up to say, all right, this is what I gotta do now. This is my responsibilities and this is what I gotta prioritize.
Why'd you make that decision? Because you said like, okay, now I have to, but like, why? Why did you make that decision? Because you easily could have like, you could easily live a double life. Like you can easily like play church and go to, because you hear people say like, oh, God forgives me.
They do
like,
that all the time, yeah.
So why did you make that decision of saying like, okay, I'm done with all that stuff? Like,
just to like mature up, because like, what are you gonna go be living a double life for? You're gonna live one way and then live another way. Like you're gonna go to church, like be all happy, be all good, and then once you leave, you're gonna not even take account to what you're learning, and then living a life of like just bad things, cruelty, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just to mature. Like you have to mature at some point and like get rid of these things.
Yeah, Bible says you drink milk as a child, and then as you mature in faith,
put those away.
Yeah, you put those away. You start consuming meat. That's the protein. Come on, look at that. All right, and then the last question. After being exposed to all that, because you said like you see people that go smoke and like there's people that drink and all that stuff. After being exposed to that in high school, why do you keep deciding to follow Jesus?
Well, for me, just personally, I look at that stuff. I'm like, I always wonder like, do they not like realize how much they can affect them? Like especially at high school, right? You're getting closer to 18 years old, and it's like, do you not understand? Like you're almost an adult, and let's say you are 18 in high school and you like make a decision like that, or like for instance you get into a fight or smoke and you get like caught, like do you not understand like the consequences that will happen? Like there's a difference, like once you turn 18, like it starts to matter like very much, like things affect you more. So it's like, do you not, like I'll see someone get into a fight at school, like do you not understand like what's gonna end up happening? Like you'll get kicked out of school, like why would you want that? Like for you or for your mom to see like, oh, my son got kicked out of school for fighting. Like, why would you want that? Yeah,
that's crazy. There's so many people that I can think of in my top of my head that like, because I coached last year the JV basketball team at Bear Gardens, and there's so many students that I saw that like were going down that route, and it's so sad to see because it's like, dude, like you have skill, like you can play at a college level or you can go to school and like be successful, but because all this has your attention, like girls, smoking, partying, like all that stuff has your attention, and like it draws you away from like thinking and like understanding the consequences to that. Like if you're caught at 18 drinking, you're not 21. That's against the law.
Yeah.
You know, and
I don't think you understand what you did, like all that bad stuff. I don't think you truly understand it. Is like after everything happens, like after you get punished.
Exactly, the consequences.
Yeah, if you're like in sports, like especially if you're in sports and things happen like that, and then you finally look back, like, man, I could have done something. Like I could have went to these like colleges, but since I messed up, like I can't go back and fix that.
Tell me about it. I had a lot of teammates like that, and so That's pretty much the conclusion of our interview. This is Daniel. He is a close friend of mine. I'll probably be putting his on Instagram if you want to get to know him and see what he's all about. And just someone that I definitely look up to. This is someone that reads the Bible daily on our Bible app. I'm seeing him highlighting verses, and it shows through his action and his character. So this is somebody that I just kind of want to expose to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's going to be definitely more people that walk the way that the Lord would want us to, and I just want to make that visible and known to all you guys. So thank you for watching.